I will say, none of the books that I had stacked away for this weekend fit this prompt. Not one. Hi everyone, my name is Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and today is the first day of 72 hours in the Smut Den. It starts tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 p.m. for me here in Eastern Canada, and I am so excited to be participating in Smut Den. I was not in my romance era the last time this readathon happened, so I didn't participate, but lately I am in my romance era, I am in my dark romance era, and it is the perfect time to be participating in this readathon. For those of you who don't know, this is a readathon hosted by the Late Night Crew, and they've also pulled in Bree from Four Paws in a Books and Michelle from Michelle's Libraries. I will link everybody down below. There's a spinner wheel, and I have already done my first spin because I do film on my phone, so I can't spin at the same time. So I'm gonna insert the clip right here, right now, and show you what my first spin was. As you can see, I got a one-word title. I have been collecting possibilities for Smut Den basically for the last month. My only goal for this weekend is to continue the Never King series. I must read the Never King series over this weekend. I read the first book about a week ago for a vlog. 5-starred it, I'm obsessed, and I need to complete the series this weekend. That is my only goal. However, one-word title does not work for the next book in that series. So I have to go to one of my other possibilities. And for this prompt, I'm going to read Scarred by Emily McIntyre. For that same video that I read The Never King, I read Hooked by Emily McIntyre, which is the first book in this series, and it is a Peter Pan retelling. I liked the book mostly. The ending wasn't my favorite, and I ended up giving it 3 stars. But since this is a series of standalone retellings, I still want to read more in the series. So right now I'm going to pick up the second book. Well, I'm talking to you now. I'm going to start reading it tonight on the opening sprints, but I figured since I did the roll, I'd come and start the vlog. This is a dark romance series, and it is the second book in this series of standalone retellings. And this is a dark romance retelling of The Lion King. That is literally all I know about it. I know literally nothing else other than that it is a Lion King retelling. I'm gonna go read it and I will chat with you very soon. I do have the audiobook, so this shouldn't take me too long. I doubt I'll finish it today. I'll probably finish it sometime early on Friday, but let's go see what happens. I have no idea what this vlog is going to turn into other than that I hope I read The Never King. That's really my only goal for this weekend, is to read The Never King. That's it. That's my only goal. So whatever else happens, I will vlog if I end up doing anything, and we're just gonna have 72 hours of reading smut and doing whatever I do this weekend. Hi everyone, it is midday on Friday and I have finished Scarred by Emily McIntyre. This was just okay for me. I don't know if this set of retellings is what I want it to be, and it might just not be for me because Hooked was just okay for me too. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the last time I read one of these series. I just think they're just not for me. I was just very meh about this book. It wasn't bad, it wasn't fantastic, it was just okay. I did not really care about the romance or the characters, and that's hard to like a romance when you don't care about the romance or the characters. So this follows Sarah. Sarah is now in an arranged marriage to King Michael. She comes to his kingdom and is going to marry him. However, she's come with ulterior motives because she actually wants to kill the whole Fossa family because they killed her father. When she arrives, she meets the Scarred Prince, which is Michael's brother Tristan, and instantly there is some chemistry between these two. And we see them fight that chemistry and eventually give into it as well. We also see that Tristan has realized Michael is not a good king and is trying to very secretly overthrow Michael through the use of a rebellion. That is a very simplistic synopsis of this book because obviously I don't want to tell you everything, but that's pretty much what it is, and it's fairly smutty once we get to it. This is by far a very slow burn romance because Sarah's supposed to be with Michael, and these two fight their chemistry for a very long time. So it is a slow burn dark romance, but once they give in, they give in. I did find that this is not a super strong Lion King retelling. There is a little bit of the Lion King in there. It would probably lean more to a Hamlet retelling, which I do realize the Lion King is slightly a Hamlet retelling. But when I think of a Lion King retelling, I want to see, nods to the Disney story. And I don't feel like there was much of that in here. Tristan did call one of the little boys Little Lion, and there was the reference to hyenas. But in my mind, there just wasn't enough of the Lion King feel for me. I love a retelling, and I really wanted it to kind of have that nod to the Disney classic, and it just didn't for me, or at least not enough. I mean, there was some in there, but not enough. My one problem with the setting of this book was it felt very old world, almost Victorian, or even medieval. Like, it feels very old. And then every once in a while, you'd be jolted out of that by there being guns and cars. And I just felt like those two things didn't really fit together, and it was an odd thing for my brain to process the juxtaposition of. Unfortunately, I just don't know if these retellings are for me. I know so many people love this series, so I know I'm in the minority. And I think it's just, I can't sink my teeth into the romances. So I really do think that mostly this is just these books are not for me, and I will pass on the rest and let people who do enjoy these books enjoy them and have a great time with them. That being said, I've done another roll for Smut Den, and I will insert it here, and I got Shirtless Man on the cover. I will say, none of the books that I had stacked away for this weekend fit this prompt. Not one. I was actually really hoping not to get this prompt, and I could respin, but I'm not going to, because I've heard amazing things about the author, Tate James. I've heard from a lot of people that I should try a Tate James book, and that's what I'm going to do with Honey Trap. This is the first book in the Guild series, and that's what I'm going to be reading. I will say the synopsis tells me almost nothing. The Goodreads synopsis is almost confusing to read, just the way it's laid out. But this follows the Guild. The Guild is a group of highly trained mercenaries who basically do campaigns or take on contracts for a group called the Circle. I believe that means they are killers. For some reason, I'm getting the whole vibe that a lot of these people are like contract killers. What exactly they are, I'm not really sure. This is a bit of a longer book. It's definitely going to take me into tomorrow, which is totally fine. I kind of had a plan of reading one book a day. So Scarred will be my Thursday into Friday. Honey Trap will be my Friday into Saturday. And if the Smut Den gods are with me, I will finally roll something that will work to finish the Never King series, because so far I haven't gotten to that yet. Fingers crossed. But for right now, I'm going to go give Tate James a try and see what this is all about. So I just finished Honey Trap by Tate James. I had a great time with this book. This book was not what I was expecting because really the synopsis doesn't tell us very much. Doesn't even really tell us the characters' names. So this follows Leon at first and then Danny as well. Leon works for the Guild. He is a hacker for the Guild and also does some kind of execution things for them as well. The Guild is basically like a set of spies, but in like the private sector. They're not CIA, they're not MI6, but similar idea. Leon is brought into a mission with Danny. Danny is another one of the guild members. She's brought in to collect information from a huge arms dealer that goes by the nickname of Ares. However, we kind of know that Danny is being set up on this mission. Someone is out to get Danny, and this is the way they're going to do it, is basically sending her into a suicide mission. Danny, however, knows that she's being set up, so we kind of all the time know that Danny feels like she's got this under control. Leon and Danny go into this mission, but Danny gets kidnapped by Ares, whose real name is Kai. Kai is the third perspective that we follow. We follow all three perspectives in this book, and each one has its own narrator, which was wonderful for the audiobook as well. Kai kidnaps Danny and is trying to figure out if Danny is a spy or if she is just an innocent bystander in whatever is going on. Leon is trying to get Danny back. Leon and Danny both have kind of infatuations with each other. They're very lustful towards each other. We don't see them hook up in the beginning of this book, but there's definitely some chemistry happening there. We also see that once she is captured by Kai, there is definitely some chemistry happening with them as well. And that is where this book starts to get quite smutty, is while she is captured by Kai. This is said on Goodreads to be a reverse harem book. And I could see that because I think at some points there's going to be some Kai and some Leon. I can kind of see that happening. I did not see much of that in this book, but I definitely did see the potential for that. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I had a great time with this and definitely want to continue the series. However, it's time for my third roll for Smut Den, and I'm gonna stick it up right here. And as you can see, I got wild, and I'm so excited because that means I can pick whatever book I want. And if you recall at the start of this video, I wanted to continue the Never King series, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to read the second book in the Never King, which is The Dark One by Nikki St. Crow. Very excited to continue this. I absolutely loved the first book, gave it 5 stars, really, really wanted to fit this in over Smut Den. I wanted to fit the whole series. I'm kind of thinking that's not gonna happen, but at least I'll get this one in. The first book follows the Darling girls. Every year on their 18th birthday, Peter Pan comes and kidnaps a darling and takes them to Neverland. Peter is trying to find something and thinks the darlings know where it is. This darling we follow is Winnie Darling. When Winnie arrives in Neverland, she realizes Peter Pan is not the only one there. There is also Cass and Bash, who are Fae twins, princes from the Fae court who have lost their wings. And there is also Vane, who is the most magical person in this group of 4 characters because he still has his shadow, and his shadow gives him kind of an evil power. Peter obviously has lost his shadow. I loved the way the author brought the Neverland story into this reverse harem story. It was so good. It's short. It's really quick read. I think it's only like a 5-hour audiobook. It was very, very fast. And like I said, I ended up giving it 5 stars. We're gonna follow all of our characters now that they are back in Neverland. At the end of the first book, they came back to our world for a little bit, but Winnie decided to go back to Neverland with the 4 boys, and I'm assuming that's where we kind of take off. It's called The Dark One, which the Dark One is Vane. So I'm assuming this book kind of follows Vane's story a little bit more closely, but that's just me going off the title. We'll see if that's true. Like I said, it's a very short audiobook. It is Saturday night. I think it's about 7 o'clock right now on Saturday night. So I might even be able to finish this tonight. If I can't, I'll finish it tomorrow morning quite early. So I should still be able to get in one more roll after this for Smut Den. And let's go dive in because I've been dying to read this sequel, and now I finally get to. Hello, my lovelies. So let me take you on a story because it has been a minute since you've seen my actual face. There's been some B-roll from Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, but you haven't seen my face since then. And it's Monday, and I will explain to you what has happened. So I went to bed on Saturday night with 1 hour left on the dark one, and I had full plans to get up in the morning, get groceries, get a few errands done, finish that 1 hour and do a fourth roll on my wheel and do one more book for Smut Den. I was in Michelle's Smut Den sprints for most of those sprints, but I made very little progress on my book. I was working on a secret project and I was doing other things, but still felt like, okay, I have an hour left of this book. I can knock it out, get another roll done. I got 30 minutes done in that book when the world around me became very stressful. So what happened was there was a fire that started in a neighborhood not that far from here, about 20, 30 minutes away. And it was a forest fire. And within 30 minutes, it reached residential homes. It started to engulf homes. It's a very bad fire, and it got out of control very, very quickly. They started to evacuate all the areas. They evacuated up to about 10 minutes from my house. So for a long time, I wasn't sure if we were going to be evacuated. So I was not reading. I was watching that situation. I was feeling horrible for everyone that I knew that was actually living in that area, because I do know people who live there, and was watching that very closely because I wasn't sure if we were going to get evacuated. We packed up bags. They're still packed because as of right now, the fire is a bit more under control, but it's not fully under control. So I'm going to stay packed until I know for sure we're not going to be evacuated. As of right now, I'm feeling a bit more secure because the wind has changed direction kind of like away from me for now. So I did not read. So I actually didn't finish the dark one until this morning. That is what has happened. So you've seen some of my B-roll, and then once that all started happening, I wasn't vlogging, obviously. I was watching the tweets from the fire people and watching the news and just kind of staying apprised of that entire situation. Anyway, as of right now, I am safe. As of right now, there's no one injured in the fire, thank God, but there are homes that are burnt, which is so devastating, and please, thoughts and prayers to everyone who is affected by that fire. But as of right now, I'm safe, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on the dark one because I did finish that, and it is my last roll for Smut Den. The dark one picks up right from the ending of the first book, The Never King. The Never King is a reverse harem retelling of Peter Pan. We follow Winnie Darling as our main female character, and obviously she has a reverse harem with Pan, Vane, who is the dark one, and we finally see her break through to Vane and start a relationship with Vane. She did not really have one with him in the first book. And the two Fae princes, Cass and Bash. In this book, however, we get to see more of the other characters of Peter Pan. We see Hook a bit because Peter has finally found his shadow, but it's in Hook's territory. So we see Hook a bit. Cherry, who is in the first book, we find out who Cherry is. I will leave that for you to find out later. We see Tinkerbell's daughter, who is Cash and Bash's sister, a bit more in this book. So we see a little bit more of the peripheral characters. The crocodile is talked about, and we find out who the crocodile is, but we don't actually meet the crocodile in this book. I have a sneaking suspicion we might in the next one. I was hoping to read the rest of this series this weekend. Obviously, I only got to one of them. There are still two more that I need to read, and I really do want to read these. I will say I did not love this one as much as I loved the first book. I don't know how much of that was just that I was very distracted while reading this book, but honestly, even for the first bit when I wasn't, I didn't love it as much. I still enjoyed my time with it immensely and still had a great time, but not as much as I loved the first book. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. But like I said, I still really liked it. I adored the first book. So it was going to be hard for it to reach that same level anyway. The one thing I like about these books as well is it's a good mix of plot and smut. It is very smutty. It is a reverse harem. It's smutty. But there is also a good amount of plot that has nothing to do with the smut or the relationships. It has to do with the intricacies of Peter and Hook, and also Peter and his shadow, and even between the four guys and what they're trying to do politically in this world of Neverland. I have no idea what footage I've gotten this weekend, to be honest. I feel like I blacked out and don't remember what I filmed and what I didn't. As of yesterday afternoon, I feel like my brain went on a vacation, and I have no idea what this vlog looked like, but I've edited it by the time you see it, so here it is. Thank you so much for watching. If you participated in Smut Den, what was your favorite read of Smut Den? That is something I would like to know. I'm recently in my dark romance and romance era, so I'm always looking for some romance recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.